Hello, I'm Kristen Oaks-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. New Orleans is known around the world as a food capital, but where does that food come from?
One new startup is hoping to provide some new answers to that question. This week, TWILA's Neil Melanson takes us to Agro Aquaculture Center with a fresh new catch on hydroponics.
A business park may seem like an unlikely place for a farm, but at the Louisiana Aquaculture Center of Excellence, they're growing a new endeavor here. The center is the project of the Louisiana Chamber of Commerce Foundation in an effort to generate more local produce, agriculture training, and grow new farms like this one. The center is hydroponically growing lettuce right now, according to program coordinator Paul Begay.
So we really are at that, about 1,900 or so heads of lettuce a week that we can provide to distributors. We can sell direct to restaurants and then sell directly to our communities, as well as donating into the community, which is one of our directives.
Kalisha Garrett is the COO of the foundation and a New Orleans native. She says one of the directives the foundation has is to expand access to farms like these.
We've spoken very clearly with the administrations around in the restaurant associations with regards to increasing our domestic exportation of food across the state, then across the country, and of course feeding the world.
The farm has hundreds of employees, but only 3 are human. These catfish are raised at the facility not for food, but for their waste.
They eat multiple times a day. When they eat and poop, we capture that, we process that in a very clean way, and ultimately we have a high-end fertilizer derived from fish waste nutrients that we can route into our grow beds, and we can dial in our water quality with our fish waste to rival and outcompete hydroponic fertilizers that are currently on the market.
The center has a unique system of collecting rainwater for the farm, as well as collecting the fertilizer and keeping both the flora and fauna happy, even though they have different requirements.
This is water farming. There's no soil anywhere here. So by having the fish waste that we process, we can get off of hydroponic fertilizers or bottled fertilizers that are derived from minerals and salts.
The center isn't just a farm, it's a laboratory and a classroom as well. Garrett says helping people get entry-level jobs in agriculture is part of the plan.
We want to make sure that what we are providing here from a curriculum standpoint is an entry level that also has a leverage and ability to be able to expand into a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, or go directly into the workforce.
As you heard, the lettuce grown here is just the start of this new endeavor. With the growing appetite for fresh food from tourists and residents alike, endeavors like this one are certainly in need in Louisiana. Reporting from Harvey, Louisiana, I'm Neil Melanson.
Farm tours of the Agro Aquaculture Center of Excellence are available online. We'll link you over to that on our website at twilatv.org. Well, every year, ranchers from across Louisiana load up in a bus and see other state cattle operations with the goal of putting better beef on your table.
This year, the Louisiana Farm Bureau Beef Tour visited Kansas to check out everything cattle related from Kansas City to Wichita. TWILA's Josh Meeks was able to tag along.
Behind me is nearly 45 million acres of agricultural land. As far as cattle goes, Kansas ranks 6th in the nation with about 1.26 million head across the state, which made it the perfect place for the 2025 Louisiana Farm Bureau Beef Tour.
8 of them cost $7,500.
4 days, 16 stops. This statewide field trip is a great opportunity for these Louisiana ranchers. While down on the coast is mainly cow-calf operations, Midwest ranchers also utilize feedlots. That kind of operation leads to different kinds of cattle.
What's unique to Kansas is, first off, the type of cattle that they have here. They're just big frame, big bone, good fleshing cattle that feed out well, that just produce a lot of beef per animal.
Louisiana Farm Bureau Livestock Advisory Chair Mitch Marsalis says trips like this are great to take notes on and see what can be beneficial for the ranch back home.
What I'm going to bring home is an opportunity to be able to buy better genetics, and if I want to buy some of these genetics and bring them down there and run them in our cow-calf operation.
Better genetics means bigger cattle, which means more high-quality food.
We just took a stop yesterday up at one of the big sale barns just kind of taking a grasp of how people do things different parts of the country.
Vice Chair Robert Duncan says the different climate of windy, drier Kansas plays a big part in how these cattle develop.
With them having the little bit less moisture and less grass, they really take away and utilize that grass management. You know, a guy told me a long time ago, he said, "I'm just a grass farmer. I just have cows instead of a combine." So using those different rotational grazing methods really makes you open up and realize, you know, what you need to be doing.
Weather isn't the only science important in raising cattle. Knowing what goes into and comes out of these animals' diets is crucial. Louisiana Farm Bureau 3rd Vice President Amelia Kent says a highlight for her was a feedlot that's studying the misconception of methane emissions.
Being in such a concentrated population and seeing research done on methane gas, and that it really is not, it's almost half of what the figures hitting media claim those emissions to be. We're put these guys that feed cattle out to finish day in and day out, and thousands of cattle, not just a few, they are working with research institutions to highlight how the perception is in fact a misperception, and they're working to put numbers and data together to actually quantify what those emissions really are.
Community is also a big theme on these trips. Aaron Wade, secretary for the Livestock Advisory Committee, says it doesn't matter if you're from Louisiana or Kansas, ranchers everywhere all face the same challenges.
I think what I really will take home is that we're all just facing the same challenges. You know, everything's different, but it's still the same.
Reporting from Kansas for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Josh Meeks.
In total, Farm Bureau members traveled nearly 900 miles across the state of Kansas. Next week, we'll highlight one of the feedlots where the goal is to take a look at what cattle diets can reduce methane in the atmosphere.
In addition to cattle operations, those on the beef tour got to see agriculture that's not normally found in Louisiana. Ethanol production is not prevalent in the oil and gas dominated state of Louisiana, but it is a significant industry in the Midwest and central parts of the country. Kansas Ethanol LLC is one of 12 ethanol plants in the state, processing both corn and sorghum. Kansas farmers are currently pushing for tax incentives to help push biofuels. While corn harvesting is certainly not new to those in Louisiana ag, seeing it turned into fuel is. In Kansas, roughly 7% of gas stations offer E85 ethanol. In Louisiana, that number is about 0.4%. One of the negatives when it comes to ethanol fuel is that it can be corrosive, especially in older vehicles. Well, farm women, I think, can all agree that they don't get enough credit for how often they contribute on and off the farm.
This week, TWILA's Carl Wiggers takes us to Northeast Louisiana to meet a farm woman who loves to wake up, put on her boots, and head into the field every day.
Melanie Netterville Beavers grew up riding horses on this land in southern Tensall Parish. That's where the seed was planted that she would someday farm this land.
And I always thought, you know, how cool would it be to be the farmer?
However, as a young girl, Melanie did not even know where to begin.
How do you go from, Mom, I want to wear my boots to work every day, to a career? Especially being a woman trying to get into agriculture, that step, you know, was scary to me.
Fast forward a few years, an ag business degree, some valuable work experience, and a husband, and now that dream is a reality.
You know, when I met Cody, it got a lot easier of a decision because I found somebody that was willing to build that life with me. And then it got fun.
Melanie and Cody share in the work, the decisions, the headaches, the successes on their farm split between land in Tensall and Franklin parishes. So much so, Melanie has trouble defining a normal day in their life on the farm.
It's the same as any other farmer. You know, I don't have a different role. Me and Cody share in every decision 50-50. In every role 50-50, whether it's driving the equipment or mixing chemicals, picking up seed or picking up parts or delivering lunches.
She's been the pillar of my success, and it's a pillar of this farm success just to have her here and have her working alongside us every day.
I will give him more credit on being the mechanic of the operation. I'd say he's the mechanic and I'm more the agronomist.
We equally share our parts on there and play to each other's strengths, which is at the end of the day all we can ask to do.
Right now, they're sharing in the task of planting a corn crop, loading seed, checking depths, and discussing the seeding rate up to the very last second is how this couple works. But Melanie is about to take a short break from the farm as they welcome a little girl to the family. She says farming through pregnancy has really opened her eyes to some of the ways that she's not just any other farmer.
You don't have to be pregnant to experience being a woman in agriculture, but I will say having to experience work while pregnant has been an eye-opener where I feel like, wow, I'm actually doing this thing. Like I'm choosing to be a woman in this industry and farm every day, even though, you know, I still have to face, you know, woman type struggles. And that's kind of when it's kind of hit me more so than it has in the past years. The past years, I really don't think about it at all.
Back in the fall, we actually featured Cody and Melanie in a story around cotton harvest, and that's where my eyes were open to what Melanie's role really looks like on their farm. I called Cody and said, hey, I'm getting close to the farm. Can I come jump in the cotton picker with you? And he said, you can, except you're going to jump in the cotton picker with my wife, Melanie. She's the one running the picker today. And really since that time, the seed was planted and I said, I'm coming back to do a story just about Melanie. Cody, you're out of the picture here. So we often see women in vegetable production or the livestock world, but Melanie really opened my eyes to the unconscious bias I had of what a farm woman's role can be on a row crop farm. If you'd like to learn more about Melanie and maybe check your own bias, we have a podcast episode where Melanie sat down with her old college classmate, Allie Shipley, to catch up and share how she found her way to her dream job on their farm. You can find it wherever you listen to podcasts, and we'll link you to it on our website at twilatv.org.
Definitely a great episode. Thank you, Carl. The Windy City, Chicago, is where a select few Farm Bureau members from across the country gathered to learn how to become better leaders and advocates for agriculture. You're looking at Partners in Advocacy Leadership Class 12. These 10 men and women between the ages of 30 and 45 just completed the third module of this 2-year program. American Farm Bureau Federation created PAL, as it's affectionately called, to focus on taking farmers and ranchers who have already begun their personal development journey and move them to the next level. Think of it as a master class in media interviews, public speaking, and giving testimonials. Jessica Graves of Mississippi and Megan Allen of Arkansas are both in Class 12, and they say they would recommend the program to other Farm Bureau members.
You have to be really open-minded and be ready for a really deep look inside yourself and others, and what you will, learn from that and where you'll grow from that.
It's been a really cool experience to be able to grow both professionally and personally and stretch me in ways that I didn't think was possible.
There are only 10 people from across the country selected to be a part of PAL. 2 members of the Louisiana Farm Bureau Board Executive Committee are graduates of the program, President Richard Fontenot and 3rd Vice President Amelia Kent. If you would like to apply for the next class, visit our website at twilatv.org. Still to come on TWILA, turning a family farm into a legacy is not an easy task. We'll see how one rice farmer is planning for his family's future.
Plus, celebrating Louisiana's future star chefs. We'll see how these 4-H'ers stack up against the rest of the country. Stay with us.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
Time now for a quick look at some of the best crawfish prices from around the state.
If you're out and about in Mamou this week, check out B&L Seafood Market. They're selling them for $3.33 a pound live and $4.99 a pound for boiled.
If you're out east in Franklinton, Winn-Dixie on Washington Street has a pound of live crawfish for $2.79 a pound and a pound of boiled for $3.49.
And out west in Lake Charles, you can check out Rouse's on Sam Houston Jones Parkway. They're selling a pound of live for $3.25 and a pound of boiled for $4.29.
These crawfish prices are brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, which reminds you to always eat Louisiana crawfish and to make sure, ask before you eat. Mind you, those prices are what you pay at the grocery store. That's not what farmers get. They always get a little bit less than that. So if you know a crawfish farmer, buy directly from them. Succession can be a difficult conversation in agriculture because of the nature of the industry. Some farm kids do not want to come back to take over the family business.
In this edition of How You Grow Louisiana, sponsored by First South Farm Credit, TWILA's Josh Meeks found one Southwest Louisiana farmer who took over the farm from his dad and hopes to pass it to his son one day.
Dave Heinen is out on the back of his drill planter on a dry, sunny morning just outside of Jennings. He's keeping a close eye on his rice seeds because they're in short supply and he can't afford to be wasting even a single seed.
The seed situation was probably worse than we've ever seen it. There's not the varieties that we're used to planting, we're not getting them. Pretty much what you can get, you better take it because there's nothing left out there.
He knows exactly how much seed it will take to spread across his 700 acres. He's been farming this land on his own since 1985.
I got into farming from, I guess, birth, you could call it. I actually started working with my dad when I was 6 years old. I was on a tractor by myself. Nobody helping me. It was just the way they did things back then. I just always wanted to farm. There was nothing else that I wanted to do. In high school I did athletics, I rodeoed, played basketball, but farming was always gonna be my number one deal that I wanted to do.
40 years in, he's not ready to slow down, but since he took over farming from his dad, who learned ag from his dad, Heinen wanted to pass it to one of his kids. Thankfully, in the last few years, his son William decided he wanted to help out.
He was in his 20s when he decided that's what he wanted to do. So he came back and we started. He ended up buying a farm.
In fact, all his kids, now adults, have some kind of connection to agriculture. Dr. Anna Heinen Howard is a veterinarian. McKinley Heinen Oray works for Aglender First South Farm Credit, and Lauren Heinen has an ag degree, but is actually now the first female district attorney in Jeff Davis Parish.
Put it right here, we're gonna replant it.
Heinen hopes those passions for agriculture will grow in his grandkids. Today, they're helping Grandpa plant rice.
Farming is it's a way of life. It's not the easiest way of life, and to me, if you can't take pressure, this is not where you need to be, because it is just pressure packed every day. We've learned to live with it.
Reporting from Jeff Davis Parish for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Josh Meeks.
How You Grow Louisiana is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. In Louisiana, First South is how you grow. After the break, we'll follow Ag and Forestry Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain on a story that's certified Louisiana.
Plus, serving up some of the best dishes the state has to offer, highlighting Louisiana ingredients.
God's been blessing us so much, being able to do what we get to do. And it really all started when we started Cowboy Church and started serving there. It was, things just started God just started putting stuff into place.
My name is Josh Morris. I'm a rancher at 312 Beef in St. Francisville, Louisiana. Woo! Come on, Earl! Woo! Woo!
So we're just putting the gap back up so that it'll keep them off of that pasture for about 20 days. And then we'll rotate them back through, or Mr. Eugene will.
You know, getting to work cows as a family. My kids are finally old enough to really do stuff. I can't think of anything else I would rather do.
We're in the Felicianas at 312 Beef.
Commissioner, how are you?
Good to see you. Mike Strain.
Josh Morris.
How are you? We're weaning the calves. They're going to move the calves and put them on some grass, and then we're cooking some of their own local certified Louisiana 312 beef.
We're going to put the commissioner on a cut gate, and we're going to see just how fast he is to be able to cut these steers and heifers out. I'm interested to see.
How are you?
Good. Tara Morris.
Mike Strain.
My wife, Tara.
Nice to meet you.
My dad,
Eugene
Morris.
Good to see you, Mr. Eugene.
Nice to meet you. That's all good?
Good.
Good. All good. Cows will go over there, calves will go over here.
Okay. The mama cows are already pregnant. They're pregnant with the next generation. And so those cows, one, they have to rest in between raising the different calves. But those calves now are going into the next phase of their life.
We'll go ahead and send these back there.
All right, you gonna put them all in the same
Yeah, they're all going in that pen over there.
We'll bring some more with him.
We are a certified Louisiana farm-to-table company, absolutely. And we did that right up front in 2018 when we first started doing our label. And it's been great for us to be a certified Louisiana company because people want to know where their beef is coming from.
If you could pick something that would be great to put on your label, I mean, certified Louisiana. I mean, why not? People they want to know where their beef is coming from. They want to know that it's local. They want to know the farmers that they're getting their beef from. And so knowing that their beef was born and raised
and processed right here in Louisiana is so amazing. And so being certified Louisiana is just, it was a no-brainer for us.
It is critical to be a certified Louisiana company. We now have at least 400 companies that are certified Louisiana. So buy fresh, buy local, buy certified Louisiana. Look for the seal, because it's the real deal.
Our beef has a lot of flavor to it. You know, our grass-fed beef is absolutely amazing. And so we love it, and our customers love it.
Certified Louisiana's Crawfish Tales with Commissioner Mike Strain was brought to you by the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry Certified Louisiana program. For information about the Certified Louisiana, Certified Cajun, Certified Creole, Certified Craft Beverage, and the Certified Farm to Table Logo program, visit certifiedlouisiana.org or ldaf.la.gov. Support Louisiana families. Look for Certified Louisiana logos at your favorite grocery, restaurant, or farmer's market. Buy Louisiana. It's the way to grow.
Time now for this week's TWILA Boost, and it's all about celebrating young chefs.
It is. The 4-H Food Challenge invites teams from across the state to compete on a national level. Here's Craig Gautreaux.
Food and cooking were a vital part of this year's Louisiana 4-H Food Challenge. But there were other competencies in play for these aspiring chefs.
They gain essential skills such as communication, teamwork, critical thinking, problem solving. So these skills that they need in life.
Contestants were judged not only on the dish they prepared, but how safe they were in the kitchen, their knowledge of the nutritional content of their item, and a cost analysis. Alicia Ardouin helped prepare her daughter for the contest and is grateful 4-H'ers have this opportunity.
I love that 4-H has this for these kids. It's a great way for them to put themselves out there and compete. And that way when they, go into the real world, they have this experience.
Every year the participants are given a secret ingredient to center their dishes around. This year it was eggs. While many chose to create dishes typically served for breakfast, Abigail Harr's team created an egg and rice dish.
We chose this because it is packed with nutrition and is high in protein, and as we are runners, it keeps us full when we run.
The secret ingredient is a Louisiana-produced commodity that is commonly found in homes across the state. The plan is to introduce the participants to the many ways to prepare the secret ingredient.
In the past, we've done different commodities. This year it was eggs. Next year, we don't know what it'll be, but we always aim to expose our students to different commodities, even if it's just through the foods that we have in the pantry.
More than 60 teams competed this year, and the senior winners will advance to a national competition at the Texas State Fair. With the LSU Ag Center, this is Craig Gautreaux reporting.
Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll take you back to Kansas for an exclusive look at a feedlot operation.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. You can also find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications. That way you know when we put something new out there.
For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.